Texan Roundtable Edition. I am one part of your show, Ruben Calvillo. I am joined by three handsome men, one of them from the H-Town Rundown. AD, how's it going, brother?
It's wonderful, man. Especially when you beat the Cowboys.
Oh, next to him, the handsome man at TheLead_Houston just got to 10K subscribers. Harley, how you doing, brother?
Doing great, man. I'm having a good time. And like AD said, man, I'm gonna share the same resentment, man. It's always good when you beat Dallas.
And then last but not least, he is beefing with ESP in Houston.
That's the intro.
Mr. Houston Stressins. What is going on, boss?
We good. We blessing, man. Yeah, I think me and Paul Gallant, if things continue the way they're going, we might have to get into a rough and rowdy boxing match. We'll have to see what happens.
Hey man,
Oof.
let me say I want peace between Houston Texans, media. We don't want no beefs, man. We're entering a new age. Let's all just shake hands, smoke a blunt, and you
Yeah,
know,
we're
you
good.
know,
It's all in good fun.
it's all it's all good. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you know why we are here, and that is because the Houston Texans, they took care of business on Monday Night Football. You can say they embarrassed the Dallas Cowboys. It was 34-10. We have a lot to discuss. But first, Harley, I want to start with you, man. Your thoughts on the Houston Texans fans traveling all the way to Jerry's World. We heard Will Kunkel from Fox 26 say he thinks it was 60-40 Houston Dallas.
Yeah, man, that's that was exciting, man. The TikToks that they had were just great. All of
Them
the
fighting each
content,
other was hilarious.
yeah, man, the content was fantastic. I'd love to see it. The Texans fans actually showed out for the first time this season, and that includes their home stadium. So that's unfortunate, but hey, I'll take it. You know what? It was a sea of red all over Jerry World. It was fantastic to see. It felt great to be a Texan fan. It just felt great, man. Just seeing them take over. I mean, come on, man. It's just that was great to see. I was excited. I'm happy to see the fans take over and destroy Jerry World, disrespect the Dallas Cowboys, and having chants inside the stadium.
Mm.
I mean, that's just good, man. None of that stupid little dance like Detroit. None of that, Jared Goff, Jared Goff. Like, come on, man. None of that dumbass shit. Some actual shit,
Mm.
some actual chants, some actual FUs to the
Mm.
opposing team. Like that's what you're supposed to do. All right. Come on, man. I don't get some of these other teams, but the Texans fans, they showed up and showed out. Traveling Texans, shout out to y'all, man.
AD, and when you see them chanting Houston Texans inside Jerry's World, I cannot recall the last time I've seen, a Houston Texan fan base not only travel that well, but you heard the phrase walk in your trap, take over your trap, and that is exactly what Houston did.
Yeah, I mean, it's that right there is what we've experienced in Houston the last few years. I not vaguely, I specifically remember the game against Pittsburgh last year.
Mm.
That
Yeah.
stadium was black and gold. And I'm telling you right now, they were rowdy, they were ruckus, they were throwing them towels in your face, all of that. It just feels good to know that we have a fan base that can show up and show out and take over the trap.
Mm. And then Stressins, the day for the Dallas Cowboys, it started bad, right? They try to open up their roof first time in a long time. A
Top
part
strut.
of their ceiling collapsed, almost hit people down below. I mean, me personally, I would have let it hit. I would have sued. I would have owned Jerry's World by the end of the day. But it
Hell
was
yeah.
different seeing this Houston Texan fan base, react to this blowout win. I said it on my channel that this is your first real dominant performance of the season, a full 4 quarters, right? I know New England was kind of a blowout, but they were still putting up some points. Outside of Jeff Okuda just getting burned by Turbin, this was just a dominant effort by the Houston Texans.
No, it was, and I was there too. So I mean, I can
Ooh.
confirm. I don't know if it was 60-40, but it was dang close to it. And I will say though, I don't know if y'all been up there. They had that Texas Live like venue, which is like right in the middle of the ballpark in the stadium. That shit is lit, dude. It's like 10 bars in one. It's like awesome. We got big screens everywhere.
Don't
So
tell me what a
we
good
need one of
time.
those in Houston, man. But anyways, yeah, I was feeling good. I was you know getting drunk with the father-in-law. So my wife and my father-in-law went, and they're both Cowboys fans. So I was having a hell of a time. They were but yeah, I mean, it was awesome, and the game honestly went how I expected it to. And like you had mentioned, the Patriots game. I mean,
Mhm.
I know some fans walked away not happy, but um, the approach was to be conservative. I think it was, hey, we have a massive advantage with our defense against their offense. No rushing game. Cooper Rush starting quarterback. Conservative on offense. No deep passing. Run the ball, and it worked out. So I mean, I know it was kind of tight for a while, and it eventually broke open with our defense winning the game. But I mean, I agree, it was a dominant game, and for a moment too, like in the moment too, like I live tweet like we all do, and we have our frustrations in the moment. And one of which was, Cooper Rush is dicing us up. But then as the game went on, I realized like that was the game plan. It was to not blitz. It was to have Cooper Rush drive down the field until he made a mistake, and it worked because he did make a mistake. And like you mentioned, the only play he made was a 5 yard slant to Turpin for 60+ yards where Okuda just got burned. That was it. So yeah, I was loving it.
AD, do you think this was the Houston Texans' real dominant performance of the season?
On paper, it was dominant.
Mm.
Um, I'm a little more pessimistic, so I'm gonna take it a little bit back. Um, this was one of those games where it's like if Dallas wasn't as trash as they are, this may have been a lot more competitive than what we give credit for. We're just thankful and lucky that Dallas was just ass, but um, it was tough to see. I mean, you see the struggles that CJ's been
Mm.
having all year long. You see the defense give up give up plays and give up yardage that they normally don't do. I know Stresson said that may have been the game plan, but how does Cooper Rush have the large, the biggest amount of yards in the game given up by the Texans this season, passing yards? Was it 350 that
Hmm.
they gave up? That's uncharacteristic of the Houston Texan defense. I think before then the highest passing leader during the season was like 250 or
Mhm.
260 something maybe. And you give up 100 more yards than that. There was opportunities missed. Jugs machine needs to happen because Kalen Bullock dropping pick six, Stingley dropping a pick six. Stingley dropped like 4 interceptions.
Hmm.
Did I saw
So,
that?
Aziz Al Shair had probably his worst game as a Houston Texan. Just a lot of things you can take out of it. No pass rush in the first half. So there's a lot of things defensively that you can take out of it. Offensively, like I said before, just the same struggles that CJ Stroud's been having all season long. And how can we correct it?
Mm. Harley, you hear what AD said. What were your thoughts on the Houston Texans 34-10 victory over the Dallas Cowboys?
It didn't move the needle for me. Defensively, I already know the Houston Texans are a damn good defensive team. I
Hmm.
already know that. I already know they're one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I don't want to slight at it. I mean, when you pitch a shutout against any team in the second half specifically, it's a damn good job. I don't care if it's the 3-6, 3-7 Cowboys or whoever, that's a really good job. So tip to the cat to the defense. But we've been saying that all year. It
Hmm.
felt like they were conservative because they wanted to see the offense finally wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what it felt like. And that's just pure speculation, but I mean, it's like, okay, offense, we're going to give you an opportunity to blow the game away in the first half. It just never really happened. CJ Stroud missed throws. He had a missed throw against Nico Collins where it was high and behind him on an interception. There was some other throws that you kind of go, okay, CJ, what's going on? What's happening? You enter the scary conversation of
Hmm.
the sophomore slump when it comes to CJ Stroud. And look, it is what it is right now. He's just not playing good football. And it's more so when it comes to critical moments, he's not making the right pass, or he's missing guys that are wide open, or he's not reading guys that are wide open on the play. And that's due to himself. That's also due to
Mhm.
the pressure, the lack of offensive line, and whatever the hell that is. There's play calling issues that go into effect as well. But it's unfortunate because we've seen CJ Stroud play at a top 5, top 10 quarterback level. Last year, as a rookie, he was just magnificent. He was making these heroic efforts and these, Herculaic kind of throws that you're going, man, I've seen CJ make these throws, and it's just upsetting to see that it's not happening this year. And yes, there's outside contributing factors to that, but at some point, I mean, this is a guy that talked about he's a killer too. This is a guy that had talked a lot of noise in the offseason, and I'm just waiting for him to, have a bounce back game. I'm looking at Jared Goff, who looked like garbage against us, and then go, and I know it's the Jacksonville Jaguars, but hey, he took care of business.
Mhm.
That's what you're supposed to do to the Jaguars. That's what you're supposed to play like after a bad game. I didn't see that from CJ Stroud, so that's why I'm not impressed. The offensive line, yeah, only gave up 1 sack, but there was still pressure all over. CJ was still moving a lot in the pocket and moving out of sacks and trying to escape and trying to extend plays. And pitch count for Nico kind of, hurts that too. But it's very unimpressive for me. I need to see something else these next 2 weeks.
No, I absolutely agree. The offensive line that gave up a pressure rate of 36.8%. So it's a little bit above league average. However, compared to what it was the past couple of weeks, it's night and day. I feel like once CJ Stroud gets more trust with this new offensive line, then maybe we start to see that internal clock slow down. He starts to, build his trust again, because we see it out there. Sometimes soon as he gets the ball, he is very frantic. His offensive line just wasn't what it was, what it was thought to be, ladies and gentlemen, highest paid in the NFL. Now we have a new left guard and a new starting center. Stressens, he did throw an ugly interception in the first quarter. So it's like what Harley said. When you talk about sophomore slumps, it's hard not to disagree and say, yeah, he's not. But with all the outside factors surrounding him, man, it's hard not to put that label on him just yet. However, I do think he is on suspect watch.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a good debate. I guess like what I ran across when talking about it with people on Twitter is like, what is your definition of a sophomore slump? Like my definition of a
No,
sophomore
sir,
slump is
Harley.
my definition of a sophomore slump is, it's like it's tragic. Like you fall off a cliff, like your stats are terrible, your play is terrible, your team's losing. So that's kind of where I think there's a disconnect when I talk to people. Is he having a worse year? Yes. But like as Harley mentioned, there's different circumstances this year. I mean, obviously the biggest thing is the O line. I mean, you factor in not having Nico for over 50% of the games, who's a top 5, top 3 wide receiver in the game. We saw what that looked like early on in the year with him in the offense. I think its defenses were playing us differently early in the year at too high safety, so the stats weren't there, but he was still playing well within, taking what he was given. But obviously, when Nico was out, it had issues. Mixon's been out for a spell, so Mixon was also masking a terrible run blocking O line. So now you have no run game. Tank Dell's missed games. Stephon Diggs has been out. So these are excuses, but they're also like they paint a bigger picture. And I honestly think when you look at like the stats, like apples to apples, they're really not far off. But I will say he probably is making more mistakes this year. But like one thing that I've realized is I really feel like the mistakes are magnified this year because of the struggles of the offense. It's like because the offense overall is so bad, he has to be damn near perfect for us to be decent. And so now when he does miss a throw here and there, it's like, damn, what the hell? Before we might have been humming and rolling, miss it, and then hit one the next play, and you forget about it. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I think it's not a sophomore slump, but yes, he's still struggling. And I think the outlook is bright. I mean, we had 1 sack and one QB hit in this last game, second game with the new O-line. And like you mentioned, Ruben, he'll get more and more comfortable. Like, okay, I'm not going to get freaking hit every play in 2 seconds. I can be myself again. So I think the outlook is good, and we have an easy schedule to kind of get right, like you said. So yeah, I think we're good.
Go
So,
ahead, AD.
so the thing about it is, all of those circumstances are great points to the affecting the player CJ Stroud. but something is just off. I don't know what it is, but see, Stresson said the offense looks bad because we're asking CJ to be the savior and to make the heroic play. That's what the offense was last year. That's like literally that's what the offense was. We didn't have a running game. Mixon is a night and day upgrade over whatever we had in the run game last year with Singletary and Pierce. So it's just the fact of those same plays that the Texans from last year are expecting CJ to make. This year he's just not making them. The decisions that he's making is hard to explain why he's making those decisions. As far as like you have, you can say the excuse of he doesn't have a clean pocket. This I'm still waiting on the get right game. Yeah, yeah, that's part of it. Him and Micah, is part of the problem.
Oh, are you saying his
Um,
off season, was detrimental?
Off season, he was too busy, tittying around with Sketch, um, Micah Parsons, the interviews with Willie. Not what was his name?
Gilly.
Oh,
Gilly. The pivot. You name it, he was there. I'm mad because he didn't say no this off season. He didn't say no to anybody or anything. He was on every in the All Star game, NBA All Star game. He was there. Any celebrity event, he was showing up. I need my quarterback to say no. And I think we talked about it on the space with the group chat. Look at any great quarterback during their off seasons. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Ben Roethlisberger, any of these guys that you want to bring up, look what they do in the off season.
Big Ben was doing something different.
Yeah. Big Ben's
Yeah,
not that
hey,
good of a
What is
hey,
that?
player.
hey.
What is it? Is that a
Um,
generational thing though? Like, is it because it's a newer, younger
well,
generation?
you
That's
can
like how
even
they
take the
grow up.
younger generation. Look at Lamar Jackson. Look at Patrick
Joker.
Mahomes. Yeah, they do
Yeah.
their commercials, but what else? What else do you see? Do you see Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson doing podcasts? Do you see them in celebrity basketball games or
Well,
celebrity
to be
pickup?
fair, Mahomes and Lamar, they can't talk. I mean, I
I
wouldn't
mean,
do podcasts.
one sounds like Herbert,
Mahomes.
one sounds like
Yeah.
Herbert, but
It's ketchup on steak.
yeah, yeah. But Lamar, but even then, who's look at Justin Herbert or Trevor? Hell, those are just horrible examples. Trevor Lawrence, Justin
No,
Herbert.
you're right. I mean, yeah,
Um,
he's pretty much the only one doing all that.
I
yeah,
mean, Josh Allen has been
Josh
on
Allen.
podcasts all off season, also, right? You see all the work he does with Barstool,
Mm.
so I mean, I understand what you're saying, AD. I do get it, but it's not like this quarterback is losing his games. And I mean, you could say he lost his one. I'm right. I'll give you the Detroit Lion game with those two ugly interceptions with the
Or
second half.
Jets.
The
Yeah, the
Jets,
Jets
yeah.
one was ugly too. But the fact that like it is year two and with
That's
all the
half your losses, Ruben.
huh?
That's half your losses.
Well, hey man, thank God it's only four of them bitches, right? And not, and not many, which is also, part of the thing, right? You don't have 7 wins if it's without CJ,
Yeah.
right? So as critical as we have been, there have been some moments where he has been, special, right? You look at the 3rd and 11 in week 1 against
Mhm.
Indianapolis Colts. What an amazing throw that was. I think the fact that he was getting hit almost every other play contributed to that internal clock and his head speeding everything up. And, if we're being honest, right, like if I'm getting hit every other play, I'm taking that into consideration. And I'm thinking like, I got to get it out quicker. And I think that's just messing him up. So, like what me and Stresson said, with more, chemistry with this new offensive line, hopefully, he stops fucking up, right? That is the goal.
I think
All right,
one thing too that AD was pointing out. Sorry, I just wanted to interject while
go
it's
ahead,
still
go ahead.
fresh. It could be that last year he had to pass because we weren't where we wanted to be in the run game, and then now this year it's more of a running offense. But like the difference is we're 1 win better at this point in the season. So like it may look and feel different, but like
Mhm.
the offense, this is how like Bobby Sullick wants to run this damn Shanahan offense. They don't want the quarterback to do anything. They want to run the ball, be conservative as hell, lean on the defense. So that could be an element of it too, I think.
Well, speaking of Bobby, stressings, did you notice anything different with Nico Collin being back?
Yeah, he was in the slot quite a bit. Actually, I noticed it at the game, and then I checked the PFF splits. I mean, obviously he didn't play the whole game. He played, 50% or something like that. But he had one of his highest percentage of snaps in the slot. So I don't know if that was just to get mismatches or to maybe change his route tree because he wasn't 100%.
Hmm.
Or I'm hoping what it was is the fact that Bobby is making adjustments for the second half of the season, kind of saving this in his bag. And I mean, and he had a lot of success in the slot too. So
Oh no, yeah, he did. So I just want to see with him being I was kind of surprised that, they said full go and then we only see him out there 40% of the offensive snaps, right? Even when they dangled him in front of our face last week against the
always
Detroit
something.
Lions, right? It's always something.
It's,
Um Harley, I have a crazy take about Joe Mixon. I think he's a top 3 running back in the NFL. This has been your best running back since Arian Foster. He is truly, man, a game-changing back that we needed in the offseason. Definitely deserved that captain patch, man. Joe Mixon, like you said, I'm never going to run out of celebrations. He's been fantastic running the rock for this team.
I mean, you're right. Just last week we saw on Sunday Night Football, he's up there in the graphic with Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and everybody knows those two free agents that moved on have done extremely well in their new home. And we got to take a look at Joe Mixon because he ain't even been healthy the whole year, and he's up there with those guys. I mean, a hat trick, 3 tutties against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, he hit the too small on the one dude, straight disrespected the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, man. You can't let Joe Mixon high step on you. You dive, you miss. Then he does the too small on you. Nah, man. Not on national TV, not in front of all the hoes, man. You got to get up and start swinging. You got to get up and start swinging, man. You got to show something, man.
Were
You
there
got to
any
show me like,
left at that point when he scored his third one?
man, nah, man. Come on, man. You get embarrassed like that? All right, man. You know what? Put up the Dukes. There ain't nothing left. There ain't nothing left for me, man. Like let me go out and at least try to show I got some sort of fight in me, man. But that was straight disrespectful, and that's just been great to see from Joe Mixon.
Mm-hmm.
He deserves the C on
oh,
his chest, man. He's been fantastic. He is a leader in this locker room. I did not know that he was going to be just this important to
Mm-hmm.
the Texans team, not only on the field, but off the field as well. It's also unfortunate to say that because it just feels like this offense is super dependent on a Joe Mixon as well.
Mm-hmm.
Now, yes, Nico Collins is also a big factor into this offense, but man, I know we won games without Joe Mixon. I get that, but it's a little upsetting to hear because when I hear guys like CJ Stroud consider a 5-headed monster, it just hasn't looked like that at all whatsoever. And the way we hyped up this offense this offseason, it was thinking that, man, I was expecting, some fireworks to happen, man. I
Mm-hmm.
was expecting not only a top 10 defense in the NFL, but a top 10 offense to pair it up with it. That's what I was really wanting. It just hasn't been that way. Now, kudos to Mixon for being an absolute dog, but the Texans, they got to figure this out offensively in terms of the passing
Mm-hmm.
game, the O line, Bobby Slowick, and all that. But hey, kudos to Mixon. Appreciate you what he's doing, man.
AD, you have become, like I said last week, must watch on Tuesday nights with you and your film breakdown. As we wrap up the conversation about the offense, what were some quick takeaways, things we did good, things that we did bad? We got Nico Collins back. This was the second game in a row with the new offensive line, Juice at left guard, Jared at center. Your final thoughts on this offense?
The offensive line played a lot better than what people want to give them credit for this game. There
Mm-hmm.
were, I mean, you look at the Joe Mixon 45-yard touchdown. It's probably the best block play that we will see this season from the Texans offensive line. It was like poetry in motion, man. Everybody zone blocking, everybody pushing their man back.
Even Tunzel?
Tunsil as well. I will say this: that was a bullshit. Was it illegal man
and
downfield and
was he like
eligible man
half a
downfield?
yard or yard of field or?
Are
Like
we having a
literally,
different conversation about CJ if he has that touchdown and still has the INT?
I think we're having a conversation about Nico being the fixer.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. There you go. There
Crazy
you go,
simple screen
AD.
pass. That's
There
crazy.
you go, AD.
um, So yeah,
The Needle
that
E, the
look
fixer.
the fixer, man. But definitely, the offense played a better game than what they've played the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Mm.
Where you can watch me right on the H Town Rundown. Go ahead
Change.
and like, share, and subscribe. Y'all know
Live
what
on
it is.
YouTube and X.
Yes, every Tuesday and Friday. Y'all
Yeah,
go
we
ahead.
got 376 people
Mhm.
in this stream, guys. Thank you all. Like this stream. That's how you all help us the most. Subscribe to the other boys. If you haven't yet, AD, continue. I apologize.
Oh no problem. Saw some John Mitchie. I said this sarcastically,
Wide
but
receiver 3,
yeah,
baby.
John Mitchie had him a Stephon Diggs type of game.
And
Hold
Okay.
on, think about it. Think about it.
a big ass tackle.
Yeah, major tackle.
Woo.
Yeah, reminded me of that Florida game in
There
Alabama.
we go.
Bringing the boom.
And
Yeah.
D'Amico said he showed that
Hurry up.
clip during the week too, and I think they were showing it, saying, "Hey, you might make a tackle on a fake punt." Like they were prepared for that moment.
They were ready for it. Hey, also give a shout out to Tank Dell. He had a really decent game as well. Um,
Shout out to UCF.
um,
I wonder why it
look,
smelled like shit real quick.
Oh, come on.
Oh
got that
man.
breeze coming in, man. Get out of here there.
Jaguar season going horrible. They just got embarrassed by the Detroit Lions. 50 burger on them. They only
Ooh.
scored 6.
They
Historically
got
bad game.
bent over. No,
How is Doug Peterson still there? Come on, man.
Dude, he's
What's he?
stressed
He
about
got
Doug
blackmailed,
Yeah,
Peterson.
man.
look,
Crazy.
He got some
you
blackmail.
know what it is, Harley. They're waiting
That's true.
to after
That's
next
true.
week to
That's true.
fire Doug Peterson, so they have a new head coach or whatever, whoever the coach, the interim coach comes in. They come in balls to the wall, hair on fire, and they try to upset us in Jacksonville. It's like it never
The
fails.
Lions had, I think, 7 for 7 on scoring drives. They had more scoring drives than the Jaguars had points. At 7, they had 6. It was like one of the worst, most historic blowouts in history.
Neon said, I would like to thank UCF Jaguar for single-handedly cursing his team after that glorious rant last season. You know, it's not only happened to our guy UCF Jaguar. Brandon Cooks, life does come at you fast, doesn't it? You saw how upset he looked on the sideline, but you quit on me,
Aggressive.
motherfucker, and that's what you get. 34-10 in your crib. I'm sorry, AD. Go ahead, brother.
No, you good. Hey, look, we can move on. No, those are the quick highlights on offense. Yeah, and Dalton Schultz is still ass.
Oh yeah, I
Blocking
do like he
extensively.
was petty, on Twitter. It's okay. If you would have
Whatever.
scored, I would have liked it a little bit more, right? If you would have, but
Yeah, if you had a career high, like
Yeah.
okay, Dalton,
Right.
talk your shit. Come on,
it's
man.
like that meme where like, everyone's in a group and someone says something from far away and we all just look and give them a thumbs up. Yeah, you dodge it. You get shit.
Well, he had to after his comments in the offseason about it being like a zoo, like, on Pat McAfee, they were talking about the weight room, how you can like see in, he called it like a zoo. So I guess he had to lean in.
He looked like a dumbass posting that goddamn coffee.
I know he didn't even look good. He didn't even look edible.
Like I know Michael Parsons only had one tackle, but come on. Everyone be like,
And
oh,
mine
no,
could too. In our minds, we're the best team in Texas.
Yeah.
In my mind, I still
That
think
is
I can
true.
make the league, bro. So like, what are we talking?
in my mind, I'm about to be a damn winner of the lottery ticket, man. Hey, man.
But as we move to the defensive side of the ball, I mean, just an electric performance besides the, Jeff Okuda fumble. Stressins, I want to talk to you about Jalen Petrie because his emergence in year 3, I think, is a shock to us all. When we heard that he was getting moved closer towards the line of scrimmage, right? Shout out to our boy Cody Johnson who brought this up first.
Sure.
We were like, okay, let's see it. And dude, Jalen Petrie is like a human missile. It's kind of like he is a big play waiting to happen, and he's been in big plays all year. Dude, shout out to Jalen Petrie. I mean, a horrible year 2, and is following it up with just a. I mean, Harley, you called him, a star on Bleacher Report. It's hard to disagree when you see the way he's been playing. Stressins.
No, I mean, I've honestly seen this coming too. Like I said preseason, like he's going to be a Pro Bowler at this position. Like, a lot of us, like a lot of people, I feel like didn't understand the position he's going to play. They just saw nickel and thought, oh, he's going to be covering receivers in the slot. But like his role is to be in the run game. And I think Will said, or maybe he tells Will, like he says he has a condo in the trenches. I mean, you see it, like he is in the trenches every play. And like you mentioned, like all these big plays he's a part of. That fumble touchdown happened because of him. He wouldn't strip the ball away from the
Brought the
offensive lineman.
boom.
He's an absolute dog, dude. And it's just crazy too. Like it just goes to show that like a lot of these players are uber talented. It's just a matter of opportunity or being in the right position. He's had these skills the whole time. He was just out of position. Now you put him in a place to where he can use his best skill sets, and he's thriving. Like it's just so hat tip to D'Amico. I don't know why it took him a year to do it, but nonetheless, we're here, and he's made a significant impact. I mean, how many turnovers he had this year, and tipping balls and just all
Oh,
over
that's
the place.
crazy.
Yeah, is there a pause right there? I paused myself in my head, tipping footballs in the air. But yeah, I mean, he has to have an effect too. Like I guarantee you, if you're the quarterback, you're probably like, all right, where's number 5 at? Like that guy's gonna mess something up right here.
No, absolutely, man. Shout out to Jalen Petrie. AD, I'll go right back to you. About how you do your film breakdowns. What about number 5 stood out, dude? What were some of his best moments out there?
Just as always, his aggressiveness, man. Like his attacking the ball and his always being around the ball. Like it never fails that he's always making a play. Every game he's made a play.
Mhm.
A impact play. Again, that flag was bullshit. Again,
Oh my God, that's
that was
2 now for
yeah.
Jalen Petrie. He's just murdering people.
He just hits
So
people so hard.
that was a highlight hit that the league needs to use to show what is a legal hit,
Mm.
because that was a nasty hit and it was legal, all shoulder to shoulder contact, just knocked the hell out of him, then knocked the shit out the offensive lineman, knocked him out the game. So just his violent nature, and I'm happy to see that he's playing like we assumed he was going to be when he came out of Baylor, because he's playing exactly how he was when he made Big 12, all Big 12, if I'm not mistaken, defensive player of
Mhm.
the year, Big 12 defensive
Yes,
player of the year.
yes.
So like these are the type of things that Jalen Petrie brings to the game, and it's showing more and more every week that he's not a liability out there. He's showing that you gotta have him on the field. Take Jimmy off, take Eric Murray off. Like get
Hey
Jalen
man, Eric
Petrie.
Murray, man, he's getting nasty with it too, man.
Hey,
He's
Getting
he's playing
nasty, all
pretty
right.
good.
But the only thing with Petrie being a liability potentially in coverage is try to stay away from the known passing or I guess try to stay away from like third and shorts. Like we want to get in predictable passing situations where it may be a run but it's not, and then he's stuck. Like the Devontae Adams. But even then, like I will take all the good he's given with a handful of bad plays there. It's worth it.
yeah.
No, I mean, I 100% agree, man. Shout out to Jaden Peach. You really turned it around in year 3. Harley, I want to bring up Mr. Daniil Hunter. 2 sacks
Mm.
against the Dallas Cowboys, 10 pressures. And it feels like as soon as the fourth quarter starts, Daniil Hunter just turns it on. I really think he is coming into his own. We saw his pass rushing skills, on Monday Night Football, hitting Euro steps, hitting spin moves. He's doing it all, man. Your thoughts on Daniil Hunter, having a monster game, 7.5 sacks on the year now. Let's turn it up, Daniil.
Yeah, man. The second half, the defense really turned it up another notch, actually. But Daniil Hunter, I mean, he just goes about his business. Like you don't hear nothing from him. He's just a guy. He's just a chill guy, right? I mean, he just he does his thing, and he's dominant, man. And he is worth every penny the Houston Texans have paid him. And I'm all up for I'm all up for Daniil Hunter hitting his stride and Will Anderson returning too. Like, oh, Will Anderson back at practice today, and I understand no pads, but I mean, hey, that's a great sign to see with Will Anderson, the way he was playing before he got hurt. Daniil Hunter hitting his stride. You got both of them back, and then Nico Autry's in there. Mario Edwards, a healthy D line as well. Like, I mean, this Texans defense is absolutely scary. I had just dropped a video like 30 minutes ago saying I think the Texans got one of the best defenses in the NFL, and changed my mind, but probably the best defense in the NFL.
Facts,
D'Amico
facts.
Ryans, I've said it before, I'll say it again. the way he's utilized these guys, it's like Jalen Petrie. It's very New England Patriots esque. Like Jalen Petrie scheme dependent. D'Amico says, "Hey, you know what? I'm going to showcase his best abilities and play him similar to how the Baylor Bears played him and use him in a star role, essentially." And it's just been to absolute perfection. So I absolutely love seeing Petrie do his work. Daniel Hunter is doing his thing. You know, uh, big difference between him and Jonathan Grenard. Daniil Hunter does his work. He stays in his lane. He does everything that D'Amico has praised and treated. Like, he wants you to stay home. He wants you to do your job. And Daniil Hunter's not worried about getting sacks. Like, he's not worried about the stats. He's worried about what is the team going to do and how are they going to do. And that's nothing, no slight to Jonathan Grenard. I loved when he was here. But you can feel like these are the type of guys that D'Amico wanted, and that's why they moved on from a Jonathan Grenard and paid a little extra, or I don't know how the contract was comparatively. But, you know, compared to Daniil Hunter, that's the type of guy D'Amico wanted, and that's exactly what you got here. I'm excited to see what he can do with him and Will coming up now.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine both of them healthy, both of them firing on all cylinders. Will Anderson Jr. was coming off the defensive player of the month. And man, I just cannot wait for this whole squad to be healthy. Stresson's one guy who we haven't given props to, Mr. 24, Derek Stingley. I will shut down
Goodness.
any number one wide receiver that is put in front of me, unless his last name has booty in it. But Derek Stingley was fantastic yesterday. Gets the interception, just locked down. The Cowboys, they were moving CD away from Derek Stingley to try to get him the ball. Your thoughts on number 24, man? He's been having himself a fantastic season.
I mean, all pros. What you got to say, right? All pro. I
Whoa.
mean, and we're
Better
not
than Sauce?
surprised. I mean, yeah, and that's what I was going to say too. Is like, again, this is another example of why like we as fans need to be patient. I've been patient with Stingley, but I couldn't tell you how many times I heard like, "Oh, we should have drafted Sauce. We should have drafted Sauce." Like, people are just saying that over and over and over again. Like now it's what,
one right now.
3.5 years into it. It's like it's pretty evident. Okay, like Stingley was the pick. Like, Sauce is going one direction. Like, has no interceptions in X amount of games. His tackling's terrible. Stingley's, his tackling is getting better, and he's, a force in the run game as well as the pass game. He had the interception that you talked about. AD pointed out he probably could have had 2, 3, 4 more. I mean, a couple were tough catches, but a couple were catches he could make.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, and you hear D'Amico talk about this. It's not just him; it's also Lassiter. But the fact that we have one premier lockdown corner at the very least allows D'Amico to do so much with this defense. When you have someone like that can just take care of a whole side of the field, lock down a number one like CeeDee Lamb, that allows you to be aggressive as a play caller and dial up the blitz. And then the other thing too, I think is, I think D'Amico is big about saving his game plans. Like we saw it last year when we played the Browns in the regular season. Amari Cooper just tore us up. And we all said, why didn't Stingley shadow him? And then D'Amico after the game says, oh, we don't do that. And then, 4 weeks later, we played them in the playoffs and freaking Stingley shadows Amari and locks him down. So it's like, I think he just says like, that's in my back pocket. So that's good to know for us in the playoffs. If we face a premier receiver, I bet Sting will shadow him.
Mm-hmm.
AD, you heard Stresson say all pro. Now, when you talk about all pro, you're talking about one of the best in the game. Now, I think only 4 make the all pro, or
Yeah, and both teams. So 2 on 1, 2 on 2.
Okay. Your thoughts on that all pro nomination? Do you think Derek Stingley is trending towards that?
Absolutely. He's going to shine even more as the season goes along because outside of CeeDee Lamb, I don't think there's a receiver that we play that's no anywhere close to the level of CeeDee Lamb. He's going to, just like he had opportunities for 4 interceptions. We play a lot of bad quarterbacks. We play Will Levis.
Damn, bro.
Comment.
We play Will Levis. We play probably gonna play
Trevor
Mac
Lawrence.
Jones. No,
Oh, yeah,
we
Mac
play
Jones,
Mac
yeah.
Jones.
Pat Mahomes.
Who's playing horrible this year? Who's been
Yeah.
for Pat
No weapons either.
Sanders? He's been trash. You know,
two of these
Tua,
nuts. Yeah.
Hawk Tua.
So the hardest receiver we have left is Tyreek Hill, AD.
Yeah, and
Right.
he's a shell of himself compared to the past as well. So like he's going to shine this season, and I definitely think he's one of the 4 best cornerbacks in the league.
Ooh, I love that, man. And real quick before we go, Harley, how are you feeling about this Tennessee game coming up? I feel like this is a great opportunity for the Houston Texans to get rolling, build some momentum as they go through that, as I call it, murderous row. The Miami Dolphins, Kansas City Chiefs, Baltimore Ravens, all in 10 days.
Yeah, I mean the Tennessee Titans, they have a solid defense actually, despite what numbers say. They actually do have a solid defense. So I'm actually excited. Pull out the race card, man. I'm actually excited to see this offensive line go up against a solid front seven in the Tennessee Titans. And how they're going to play, how they're going to react, how they're going to, I want to see the Titans actually, like, this is what I want to see the Titans do. I want to see them do stunts. I want to see how this offensive line has tried to recover themselves from stunts. I want to see more of it. I want to see CJ Stroud not under pressure. I want to see, and we saw some baby steps in the Dallas Cowboys game. I don't want to minimize. There we go. And enemy, minimize.
Man, that was eating you up, boy.
Yeah, right. 34-10. I don't want to minimize that game. I don't want to minimize that we had. I'm just going to say minimize the whole damn time.
Hey, you proved that you can say it. Good job.
See, mentally now it's like, all right, bitch, you're going to say this correctly. All right? Mama ain't raised no damn bitch. All right. So, but the Tennessee Titans, like I said, they have a really strong defense, but offensively, I just want to see us do our thing. I want to see us score points. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. I want to see us. It's just some sneezing back here. I just want to see us score touchdowns. I want to see the offense actually move the ball down the field. The defense, I know what we can do defensively.
Yeah,
I know that this defense is a dominant defense. Hell, we had Jared Goff throw 5 touchdowns and we still lost. But he had thrown 5 touchdowns. He shut down Josh Allen. You've done your thing defensively. I've seen what they can do. And they're going to get fully healthy, and it might even get more scarier. Offensively, though, I need to see some touchdowns on the board. I need to see CJ Stroud be more confident. They mentioned him letting it rip, letting him be confident, letting him dance. I want to see some more of that. I don't want to see him dancing when Joe Mixon scores a touchdown. I want to see him dancing when he scores a damn touchdown. That's what I want to see. I miss this. I miss that. We only got it one time. I want to see more of that. I want to see CJ do his thing.
No, Joe Mixon.
I don't know what that was, but
yeah. Stress is some quick thoughts for the game this Sunday.
I mean, honestly, I haven't looked much into it, but I mean, Harley's right. The only concern is their defense. They got Simmons and Sweat on the interior. I think Sweat hasn't gotten a sack this year, but still, I mean, they're like a top 5 defense, I believe, statistically, yards per game, maybe. But like, I hate to say it, you look at it again on paper, like this could be another Cowboys Patriots type game where we have this conservative ass game plan. I know we want the offense to open up, but I don't know if we will or if it can. I mean, hopefully that's the case, but we have a massive advantage on our defense versus their offense, against Will Levis. And I haven't looked at the stats, but I assume they're bottom 5 in the league in passing and rushing. So I assume we lean on them to get turnovers and short field position, but I just hope that the offense, puts up points and just at least looks good and like has a rhythm, like it's just so like we'll show flashes and it's just like so just helter skelter. I want to see like a smooth rhythm, so it should be easy work. I will say, if we give it a score prediction off the top of my head, I'll say 31-10.
31-10. AD, are we going to get another viral Will Levis meme on Sunday? Give me some quick thoughts.
I didn't think about that.
Yeah. Will Levis is going to give us a great Will Levis game, Yeah, it's going to be all of that. We may see some mayo come out of him. But
pause.
Yo.
Oh,
That was
All
great.
right. All
Yeah, I'm
right.
gonna clip that.
That's a
Yeah,
clip.
yeah. Hey, but definitely, this
That's a
defense.
great point. And Bobby needs a fade because
Yeah,
Jesus, man, wait, yeah,
Oh,
I didn't
good
know
Lord.
Bobby head was that damn big, man.
bro,
Oh, that's why his
his
hat's so
head's
goddamn
that
big.
big,
That
and
big
he wears
brain.
a
Yeah.
hat twice his size.
Oh
But no stroke
no,
of genius.
a
Like, come
lot of
on,
air in
man.
that thing.
How you got a
You know,
big
it's
ass
like
head
he's
with no damn
wearing those
IQ?
noggin bosses, that you see, and his own head is like a 2X, man.
That fits
Hey,
him perfectly.
It's just
Fits
hey,
him like the
look.
OJ glove, man.
They had to make a special headset for him. That's crazy. Hey,
yeah, to
belt to
fit over
ass,
that big ass hat, yeah, because
Yeah, they need to give him a damn Bluetooth or something.
belt to ass, man. Belt to ass is what's gonna happen on
Yeah.
Sunday. If we giving our score predictions, I got them 42-6.
Let's go,
I want to
Two
AD.
see.
to
That's what I want to
6.
see.
You not only embarrass the Tennessee Titans, but you put up your biggest offense performance of the year. And then Amy Adams, the horrible owner, the ugly owner, she looks like a piece of chewed up gum. She can go back to Tennessee. Boys, thank you for being a part of tonight's episode. This was fun. Real quick, Stressons, let them know where they can find you and all your latest work.
Yeah, Texans commenter on X, TikTok, and then YouTube, and then on Instagram it's at Houston Stressons. Also Facebook, website HoustonStressons.com. Check it out. But yeah, that's all I got.
Harley, where can they find you and all your latest work, bro?
You can find me at TheLead_HOU anywhere on social media. Just type it in and you'll find me immediately, especially on YouTube on the road to 12,000 subscribers, almost at 11K. So, again, super appreciative of every single one of y'all, man. Y'all still watching. Make sure y'all do like the stream. Go to everyone else's platform. Check it out. If man, nobody knows AD's work, man. Go ahead and check it out, man. He is doing one of the best out there, man. It's underrated for sure. People need to tune in more, man. It's very, very good. The breakdowns, everything, they're entertaining. You just sit back, get you a drink. Hell, you can eat your food while you're at it too.
Hey man, I tell you, man, every time I hop in,
It's a
I
good
say,
time.
"What? I'm rolling up to this."
Yeah,
I
It's a
just
good
leave
time.
it
it's a
on,
chill
and
time.
we
It's a
tap
chill
in.
time, and you learn ball too. Like that's the thing
What?
too. A lot of
Yeah,
people,
they're
no offense to my
knowledgeable
fans.
for sure.
Hey, you want
Man,
to learn ball? There you go, man.
look, let me
You
say
know,
Yep.
this. I don't have to prove myself that I know ball. It's evident. Um, but no. But I appreciate it, Harley. Thank you so much. You can find me at the H Town Rundown on X, on the Facebook, on Instagram, and check out the htownrundown.org as well.
Everyone has their white boy, right? We have Stressins, the H-Town Rundown. They have Michael. Shout
I
out
am the
to
only white boy.
Michael.
this
Let's
He
is
does
so
go.
random.
he also does a fantastic job
Race card
also.
I'm a
again.
DEI hire.
Oh,
Shout
Rockets
out
fan.
to the Rockets who
Let's
just
go.
got a dub against the Indiana
Nice,
Pacers.
nice.
We got to hear Bill Royale on the microphone
Dude,
once again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, I told my boss,
Let-
hey man, I feel like I'm like 15 years old again, right? He shot that from Pasadena. But with that being said, guys, thank you all for being a part of this.